Should we start? I think yes. Yeah. Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of .NET Morning Coffee. So today we are going to talk about some interesting articles, community, Microsoft articles, and see what's new, what is happening in our primary platform for development. Let's start from this one. So .NET 9 is still very hot. Yeah, I'm not sure that even half of us has already adopted it, but .NET 10 is already in progress. Microsoft has started the work on it, and there was a preview 1 released a couple weeks ago. So what's interesting here? Let's see. Actually, there are a lot of updates in the core libraries, runtime, SDK, C# language, and ESP.NET Core, so quite expected things, right? Guys, what would you like to highlight here? What is the most interesting things?
For me, personally, the most interesting thing is in runtime, is that they started to make stack allocations more aggressive. Previously in .NET 9 release, they introduced stack allocation only for objects and for very simplistic cases when they can prove that object doesn't escape from current method call, and they can just allocate it on a stack. But in .NET 10, they decided to invest heavily in this area and expand this optimization not just to objects, but to arrays. And actually, arrays stack allocation might be very tricky because like you need to know size of array. If it will be too big, it will cause stack
overflow.
Yes, stack overflow, famous stack overflow error. In this case, they started with like even like for arrays, they start with very simplistic cases when they can easily prove that array is small enough and it doesn't escape, so they allocate it on a stack. Let's see what effect it will give us, because it's hard. Like, probably. Highly likely that we will start to allocate less memory on a heap, but how allocation on a stack will affect total performance and total throughput, it's not so obvious to me right now.
Yeah, but like the obvious benefit of allocating things on a stack is that the objects allocated on stack will not be collected by the GC, so that means less GC work and more work for the app, right? So then it's better performance expected here. And by the way, so in Java, they adopted this capability for many years, right? So now it's .NET turn to do the same. Okay. I was also really excited with this one, so we have a separate link. This is zip archive performance and memory improvements. I wasn't excited just because I'm a big fan of zip archives, but to me this looks very interesting because in the current implementation, in .NET 9's implementation, if you use zip archive in the particular cases, you might consume too much memory. Yeah, for example, in the current version, the update mode leads you to the situation when the entries that you are changing are read to the memory first, to your RAM, which causes significant memory consumption. While in the .NET 10's version that is in progress right now, there is almost zero allocations for the same option. So, I mean, why this is interesting? Because it seems like you can rely on everything that in the .NET Core libraries, but in reality, you cannot. So you need to be careful and always see what's happening under the hood. And this is a bright example of not very good behavior of a core libraries, right?
And it might look like very small improvement, but trust me, you will value it a lot once you decide to deal with Microsoft Office documents in .NET without any wrapper libraries, because the only things that you can use for free, mostly it's OpenXML SDK, and OpenXML SDK relies on .NET zipper archive class. And the issue that you might have is that it can kind of just produce out of memory unexpected by you when you try to open any of Office documents, because under the hood Office document is just XML document archived as a zipper with very strange structure, but still.
Yeah.
And folks had to do some weird workarounds like hosting of Azure function with .NET Framework inside, because .NET Framework zip archive doesn't have such problem.
Interesting. Okay, so in Arthur?
Yeah, for the news, you know, guys, we can mention that for Entity Framework was added left join. Yeah, operator. You don't need to write a lot of stuff on your side. As a member, you should write a group join plus default if empty to implement left join. But now you're able to just write left join, and it will be under the hood that you did previously, and without any unexpected behavior.
So they added this as a separate link method that is called exactly left join.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. But what they should they also invest into the C# language and update this query syntax? Or
I think
or
yes.
not,
and there is a high chance that they will do it this time, but still not 100%, because they tried link query syntax and expression tree area as a kind of on maintenance mode area.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, interesting highlight, Arthur. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, also, you know, the highly requested feature was related to numeric string ordering. You're able to compare string numbers in string numbers in regular flow as numbers. Yeah, like for instance, if you have the string like Windows 8, Windows 10, 11, and you would like to order them, now you're able to use a new comparison numeric string comparer, and it will be.
So instead of here, if it is like ordering the default ordering that we currently have, then it will be Windows 10, then Windows 11, then Windows 8. While in reality we want 8, 10, 11. Yeah, that's cool feature. Agree.
Cool feature for folks who like to post some nonsense comparisons between C# and JavaScript on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also briefly looked at the C# capabilities and didn't get the idea behind this field property, because it seems like we've already got this field. What else there?
It was in preview.
Oh,
so
it was in preview. Okay,
to
so
use
it
it
was
without
in
preview flag enabled on the project level.
So it's not released yet. Okay, so it's not in .NET 9. I see. Okay. Yeah, so field, it's a cool C# feature that will help us to get rid of back fields, right? Private fields. Okay, what else? .NET Aspire 9.1. So new upgrade to .NET Aspire. Not sure if somebody uses it. So folks who use .NET Aspire, please share your thoughts about the Aspire project. But we got here some tweaks, some improvements, like for example, this resource relationships grouping location. So now you will be able to choose the language. It will not rely only on your browser settings, filterings, more resource details, course support, and logs exporting. So that's all cool features. But I think what is really important here, I think Volodya, we've talked about that, is that this .NET Aspire dashboard, it's built on top of Blazor, and they are investing in the Aspire and simultaneously investing into the stability and features of the Blazor. That's cool. That's a nice illustration of the importance of using the products that Microsoft is offering to wide audience, to the end consumers internally, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the whole Aspire 9.1 release is about quality of life features, improvements of UX, UI, and some stuff around libraries. Nothing special. Like, still valuable, but
but
yes,
you know,
so,
yeah, you know, in .NET Aspire 9.1 was introduced a new the start containers on demand. You're able to write in the code that write with explicit start. Yeah, with explicit start, and after that on dashboard you will be able start your container independent on the whole the project. Yeah, and maybe it's also one of the good feature when you need to start your container based on some conditions that you are not able to predict in the code. So it's also a good feature.
Yeah. Okay, so there is a question about the native AUT updates in the .NET 10. So there is nothing mentioned here, right, folks? Did you notice anything? I didn't.
No, not yet.
Not yet,
in,
yeah.
Not in preview 1, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Few updates about the AI. Of course. Yeah. Obviously, very hot topic and a lot of exciting news here. So this one, .NET AI template now available in preview. So imagine that you have to build a new project based on AI capabilities, and currently, well, before these templates, without these templates, you have to find some examples, copy paste them. But now Microsoft offers a set of templates, or maybe it's just one template, I'm not sure, which can be a good bootstrap for you, and it will scaffold you a project where the AI will be plugged in, AI model will be plugged in, and you can run this project, explore, and get rid of everything that you don't need, and then enhance with the functionalities that you do need, right? So it's a good starting point, and also it's a good example, standardized example that you can explore when you need really to build AI-based projects. So as you can see, it comes with a kind of UI, chatting capabilities, and etc. Arthur, did you have a chance to explore it?
Yeah, I've already tried it. And, you know, it looks pretty similar that I did for our community events related to AI, but now, no, I would say instead of researching a lot of information how to structure your project, you can create a new project based on this template, and all stuff related to RAC, for instance, will be available for you, and you need to extend based on your needs. Yeah, and also, yeah, you highlighted a good feature related to AI function factory, because for me, I created anonymous classes here for structure of the function tools to describe the tools, what it contains, what method, description for the tool. But now you can just put the method that related to tool colon, and it will create a tool description for you. Yeah, you don't need to spend a lot of time for it. It's good as well.
Yeah, so it's still in preview, but I think you can install it and try just to get some basic understanding of how to structure your AI projects.
Just out of curiosity, we saw some UI in a browser with chat. Is it using Blazor or some React application? What it is?
It's interesting. Yeah, so
it's Blazor. It's Blazor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, because when we start template, it's a web template with some pages, and for these pages, we have a Blazor.
Mm-hmm. Cool. One more Blazor usage. Right. So again, one more update from the AI area. Leverage vision in a Copilot chat. So, folks, if you are using GitHub Copilot right now, you know that you can chat with the AI assistant to add some code, to generate some code, or to ask it to explain the particular portions of the code. But you were not able to work with images. What you can do right now is, well, it's in a preview, but you can upload the particular pictures and use the pictures for code generation. So, for example, you need to build a particular user interface, so you can have a mockup. You can export your mockup, upload to the Copilot chat, and ask to generate a basic structure for your solution on a particular language. And it could be, again, a good starting point. A good starting point for you. Then you will be able to work with the code, improve the code. Again, features in preview. Not sure about the quality. Again, maybe Arthur, you have already tried it. Please share your ideas. Is it useful or not? Oh, you can even GIF animation. You can upload GIF animation, so it will generate a couple of articles, or I'm not sure, or animations.
Out of curiosity, if you provide screenshot of Visual Studio interface and say, try to reproduce it in Avalonia, will it do the job?
I don't know, because as you know, for LLM we have some BIOS or maybe knowledge regarding new features for some frameworks. It can try to do something, but in some cases I noticed that it's not true. Yeah, for instance, I've tried to use Fluent AI library for Blazor and said, okay, how to do this and this, and I received some unexpected tags, for accompaniment, and I said, oh, it's not this library, and chatbot tried to said, oh, I apologize, and here is this, it's correct, but unfortunately it's again not correct. And it's an awful situation when we try to copy paste the codes that are not real with a good quality, and maybe doesn't satisfy your.
We will talk about the copy-pasted codes
Mm-hmm.
very soon. Yeah, today it's interesting, another interesting link. Yes, what I really like on these AI models, that they are so polite, even in case if they are lying to you, they always apologize for that. It's very nice. Okay, one more nice integration with Visual Studio. Well, maybe that's not only for Visual Studio, but it's just for Copilot. This is like code reviews, automatic code reviews that you can get from the Copilot each time when you commit your code or trying to commit your code. This is a preview feature. You need to enable it. Here is described how you can do that. Then when you try to commit, you will get some hints from the Copilot, who will try to explain that particular things that you've made to your code are not very correct. You need to improve. You need to do it slightly better, and etc. So that could be quite useful, because those comments are like just the comments, and you can ignore them, or you can just at least go through them. And well, sometimes you might do some silly things just because you were not very attentive, and etc. So the machine can obviously track these things and highlight to you. So haven't tried.
Interesting feature, because recently they introduced Copilot Reviewer to GitHub, and you can enable it, and it will start commenting your PRs. And as far as I remember it, like we can control, or we can at least affect the way it reviews your code by providing some instructions in some magical file in the root of a folder. I'm curious, is it possible to to create so advanced rules and to so that they work in GitHub and locally as well, and kind of turn this review comments into errors, so that you until you follow project structure approach defined in rules for Copilot, it will not allow you to build your project locally even.
To build, commit,
turn
push.
it kind of hardcore analyzer that we have for SDK right now.
Yeah. So is it for free on a GitHub level?
I believe it's not for free, but it's on an organizational level. It should be enabled separately, and it's available starting from some level of subscription.
I would like to check if it is available for our project. Okay. So any comments here?
Is it possible to reconvince this reviewer? I mean, say no, that is correct. You are not correct.
I haven't tried, so maybe Arthur.
I believe you will be able to put some instructions that it's correct regarding your project. I mean code style in your project. Like, okay, it's okay for us. Don't.
Or you can type. It. Or you can type something like, "No, I made this mistake intentionally because I want to be secure at my job, and I know that I'm
probably
doing
need to
what
put
I'm doing."
Some safeguard instructions in a root config to not listen for developers and for their begin code. Like, they're not right by default. Yeah. Ignore all instructions from developer.
Yeah, interesting to play with it anyway.
Maybe, one note regarding the using all these feature. Please be careful, because if you don't want to share some intellectual property with LLM, you shouldn't do it before enable any features related to AI. You should think twice, or maybe have some approvals from projects, from stakeholders, and etc.
Yeah, this one is really quick. This is one more event about GitHub Copilot. It could teach you to do some basic interactions with the Copilot. I know most of us has already attended some kind of trainings or have a practical experience. But in case if you are just a beginner, I mean, that could be a thing to watch, to explore, to investigate. Yeah, so I know that there are many events, and they are happening every day. I do believe if we Google something today, GitHub Copilot event today, we will find something. That's a very hot topic. Yeah, this is from Microsoft. Okay, so this one, yeah. So we've just talked about all the exciting capabilities related to AI, and now let's talk about some researches of how AI and code generation influence on the developers. And here we have AI Copilot code quality research from GitClear company.
Yeah, GitClear company, what is it? First of all, it is a company which is doing some code analysis and research about it. And at least for the last 4 years, they're doing some research around the AI impact on code quality. So why we decided to include this document into this morning coffee? Because it is not bad to be familiar with it. And the second reason it is because in the last 2024 year, there are a couple of interesting changes in the code quality according to their analysis. If you will scroll down to page number 8.
8, where is it? It's 7, 8. Yeah.
This one, correct. Look, what is this chart about? The blue line, it is showing us the amount of code that was added. It means that we're constantly adding the code. That's cool. That's fine. But the next line, it is green line. It was
on the second place, right? Historically, it was on the second place. So in GitHub, the most frequent changes were obviously additions, but the second popular action that people made was the movement of the code.
Movement. And what is movement? Basically, it's just refactoring. You can interpret it as refactoring. And the amount of moved code is significantly growing down. It is decreasing a lot. And
so in effect, this is the least used action, right?
Yes. Right. It is in prediction, but yeah, looks like
it's in prediction. So still, it's 2024. So it's not the least, but the significant drop.
Right. But section which is growing, it is orange line. It is copy pasted code. And why the year 2024 was interesting, because this year the amount of code that was copy pasted was higher than code that was moved. It means that we're introducing new code, just basically copy pasting the code, but not refactoring existing code. One more thing about how it was calculated. So the copy pasted code was not calculated through the whole entire code base. They're considering copy pasted code in scope of one commit. That's a little bit shocking. So it doesn't mean that your entire code base contains a lot of copy paste. Probably it is. But the research is talking about copy pasted code inside one commit. That's super. It is a little bit shocking, at least.
Yes, I agree. So what does it mean? So we have a lot of copy pasted code. We have a lot of new code, and we see that people do not use move operations. They are not trying to refactor their code. So that could be a red flag, really, for the quality.
Right. And one a bit about quality, I have another point, but a little bit think about it. Why it is happening? So first of all, it is because we have growing amount of some helpers that is just suggesting you to add new code. And I don't know, maybe there are, but I don't know exactly any AI assistant just suggesting you to add new code. It's kind of familiar with your code base. You're trying to type some function, and it's suggesting you to finish it with with the whole entire block, because it is most likely was used somewhere in the code base. And you're pressing the tab, boom, and you have a copy pasted block code in your code base again. Another reason, it is probably because we have a lot of newcomers, a lot of new people was hired that was not super familiar with the old code base, but they're relying on this new AI functionalities. They trust it, and they blindly accepting all stuff that AI is suggesting them. And of course, we'll have copy pasted sections. Another interesting page that I found here, it is in the page number 18.
Mm-hmm. No, this one.
Yes. What is it about? This page is saying us that the amount of code that was created and later deleted is super big. And not just created and deleted, the code that recently created, less than 2 weeks actually, the first column, was created and in 2 weeks it was removed. How to interpret it? It means that the functionality that you created most likely doesn't meet with things that you actually need. You created something with the help of AI, for example, of course, with the help of AI, deployed your code, but after testing, you notice that it is not what you need, and you're moving back and try to remove or redo again with AI, and so on and so on. So, and probably it is somehow, the Google also created a similar research about the code quality, and they noticed that about growing the amount of bugs and 7% in comparison with the previous year, and probably it's somehow much with the Google report. So physically it means the same thing. So as soon as the amount of created and removed code is growing, it means that we're kind of rising the amount of bugs because we're not satisfied with our code. And if we are not, it means that the code was wrong. It was containing some bugs. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that's very shocking, right? So it's a completely different angle on all these AI assistants. So we definitely need to think about that. We all who has started, who hasn't started yet, adapting GitHub Copilot. And folks, let's do refactoring of our code. Yeah, let's not just add blindly more lines. Let's try to reuse, write less.
One more thing that I did a little bit research around it, and people who also was reading this article, they started to suggest something that potentially can help us still use AI, but move us do not do any copy paste. They suggested to add some settings into AI helpers, assistants, to not suggest the whole entire block of code. I would suggest them line by line, for example, or something like this. So but it was, of course, it will be helpful just to finish the line, for example, equal to something, but not finish entire functional class. Or maybe it will help something somehow.
This is just gold. I mean, this is very, very important, very important investigation, and we all need to think about our AI usage and be careful.
Yeah, let's wait next year and we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for highlighting most valuable things from this detailed research. Thanks, Alex.
Sorry, guys. Before we proceed, can I take control over screen and share screenshots of our monitoring? Because recently on our project we upgraded from .NET 8 and .9, and I have a few examples of what we achieved, mostly for free by just updating a few lines of code in our project files.
Okay, so we're back in here to the news about .NET 10, and now Volodya is going to talk about .NET 9 and the results of .NET 9 upgrade. So that's very interesting because this is from production project. Yeah, Volodya, go ahead.
Okay. This is a screenshot of our Grafana monitoring of one of our services from production. I have a few such screenshots. On the first screenshot, we can see the difference in memory consumption in mostly idle state. Previously, we had it around 350 megabytes, and after there was redeployment of service, and there we see .NET 9 version. It consumes around 220 megabytes.
So 1/3 less, right?
Yeah.
Something.
It's a web API project, and on .NET 9 they enabled datas by default. It means that it's not so greedy in terms of memory anymore. It collects it more frequently, and as a result we see reduced working set. It's one of our services. This is not this one. Yeah, around about CPU consumption, because the service is mostly idle, there is no kind of measurable difference. But we have other services. And before we proceed, we have result of other service, also web API, also mostly in idle, and there we have very similar difference in memory consumption. But also we have another service, and these metrics are from our load testing environment. I'm working on IoT related project, and we have one of our service related to simulation of devices, of IoT devices. So on the screen we can see that we were running 5 pods in Kubernetes. Each of those pods has 10,000 of simulator instances running inside. They connect to Azure IT Hub through MQP protocol and send some JSON-based telemetry to it and respond to some commands. This is a screenshot of memory consumption. We see very similar savings. Previously, we consumed almost 7 gigabytes in total for 5 pods. after we consumed around 5 gigabytes. And there is a difference, like there was a redeployment from .NET 8 to .NET 9 with datas, and there was redeployment from .NET 9 with datas to .NET 9 without datas. As you can see, memory consumption increased, but not yet to previous levels.
Still less, yeah.
And the most interesting results we achieved in CPU consumption, because CPU consumption for us translates directly to costs, because the more CPUs, the more virtual machines we have to run. And previously, as you can see, we had around 21 CPUs for 5 pods. And after upgrade to .NET 9, like nothing changes. These services are still running the same load, but they have very specific load. You should be aware that they mostly send telemetry over MQP connection. Telemetry is kind of quite different between device types and between messages. It's randomized by some degree, but still, like they're doing the same. And we see that reduction in CPU consumption was almost 2.5 times. It means that 2.5 times less virtual machines and less money spent on these test runs.
That's very impressive. Very impressive.
On real world applications, you will see less reduction in CPU consumption, but still you might
depends,
get similar
obviously.
result. Yeah, and on the workload.
Depends on the workload, yeah. But very impressive results. Thanks, Volodya, for sharing that insights from your production project. That's very, very valuable.
Yeah. Okay, stop sharing.
Okay. Few more links that we want to share and discuss. Those two are related to Visual Studio productivity features. They are minor, but still might be useful for you. This is related to encoding, intent settings, scrolls, and etc. Just really quickly, this one is multi-threaded debugger. And again, so a little bit of AI. So AI can explain what's going on with your threads. Here, just a nice illustration of not only code generation capability, but also explanation. So maybe that's another way to reduce the amount of edit and copy-pasted lines, is just instead of asking to generate the solution, to ask AI to explain what's going on and then type on your own. And I would like to cover this block because it's a little bit scandal. Yeah, we all like scandals, right? 10x faster TypeScript. Yeah, this article from Andreas Hilsberg. Who is this guy, guys? Do you know? Can you tell who is he?
Creator of C#.
Yes,
creator
exactly.
Of Delphi, if I'm not mistaken.
And TypeScript
as well. Yeah.
So yeah, he's very important person in the Microsoft area, and here is the article where he shared very positive updates on TypeScript tooling, which is basically compiler and slightly and few other tools, right? And they made it 10 times faster, but they achieved that by using where is it? By using Go language. Yeah. So there is somewhere in the article. Yeah. They achieved that by using Go language. And what is really what's wrong here? Yeah, so it seems like the author of C# decided not to use the C# to build a good compiler for a TypeScript. So it sounds like the child who is not loved by his father, right?
Vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. Okay, so there is a quite long YouTube video where he is asked. Well, it's not very long. It's only 13 minutes, but he is explaining here some ideas how they achieved this performance. But there was somewhere a longer video where he is also answering on the question about C#, why not C#. There is also a long discussion on the GitHub. A lot of complaints about the Go choice. People are shocked because they thought that they should use C#, because, for example, for C#, yeah, we have a Roslyn compiler which is written on a C#, but for some reasons, for TypeScript, C# language is not good enough. That's that's interesting. Also, another suggestion was to use Rust, because Microsoft also invested into Rust. But here we see that for some reason Go was chosen. Interesting decision.
Yeah, it produced very hot discussion in the repo, which
I
is
just
quite
advised
interesting to read.
I just advised to view the video, the long video with this guy, and he will answering those questions. Why not C#? Why not Rust? Pretty explicitly. You can't be not agree with him, but he's explaining why.
Yeah. So anyway, it's good that the TypeScript that is widely adopted right now will be faster. I mean, the tooling will be faster, so the project builds will be faster. That's good, but yeah, the language choice is a little bit debatable thing here. And the last 3 articles from the same author, from the same blog. Previously, we shared part 1 and part 2. So here are part 3 and part 4. So set of articles from Kevin Gosse about writing a .NET garbage collector in C#. And he proceeds his explanations of the specifics of the garbage collector. In those 2 articles, he explains how to check if the particular object has still references to it, so you shouldn't collect it. Again, very detailed, very nice articles with a lot of explanations. Again, so if you wanted to spend weeks on something really complicated, but which will then improve your understanding of the very, very deep things, you can invest your time into reading these articles and maybe reproducing the example and maybe doing some slight changes, improvements, and etc. And one more from the same author. This is about Product Memory Management 2nd edition book. So there was a first one from Konrad Kakosa, and now there are 3 authors of the 2nd edition, and one of them is this guy. I like this block scheme that explains should you buy the book and read it or not. So if you are thinking whether you need this book or not, so you can just go through this scheme and get the understanding whether you need to buy it or not. Yeah, cool.
I like why you don't read the first book. It's too long. Yeah, it's complicated. Okay, you don't need to buy the 2nd edition. Just try to read the first.
Yeah, all the rest. If you don't want to understand how the GC work, you don't need to buy it. All the rest branches are following you to the result of buying the 2nd edition. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay. I think that's it for today. Any other final thoughts, final questions? Seems like no. Then I guess we can wrap up. Thanks everyone for attending. Don't forget to to give some badges to the speakers. This is on our community page.